Now we're going to watch a second role play, and this is going to be passive destructive responding.
Hey, hon.
Hey,
I've got some news about Liam.
what is it?
He made the travel soccer team.
That's very good news.
I know, I can't wait to tell him.
Oh, my friends and I, speaking of travel, we're thinking about taking a road trip. The guys I play basketball with at the Y, we're thinking about taking this epic road trip from Philadelphia down to Miami at the end of February to see the Sixers play the Heat.
I guess we'll talk about Liam later?
Yeah, we can talk about that later. Yeah. But this trip is going to be great. I mean, Philadelphia this time of year is so cold and cloudy.
I hope you have a really good time.
Okay, now you've just seen a second style of responding. Mary approaches Bob with the same news, and we call this style conversation hijacker. The reason we call it that, and I'm guessing you pick up on it, is that Bob changed the conversation to something else. He was no longer talking about Mary and Mary's excitement about Liam. Bob changed the conversation to his upcoming basketball road trip. Now, certainly Bob wasn't attuned to what Mary wanted in that moment. And you could see in Mary's expression that she was upset and maybe even a little surprised, confused initially, about why Bob might be changing the conversation from what she was excited about and wanted to share with him to something he was excited about. In fact, if you looked at Mary's facial expressions, she pursed her lips, she looked pretty mad. You probably noticed she said something sarcastic, like, well, I guess we'll talk about Liam later. You could tell that she felt let down because Bob didn't join her in the positive news that she wanted to share with him. Okay, conversation hijacker. Someone comes to you with good news, and before you know it, instead of shining the light on that other person and their positive experience, you're shining the light on yourself and your own positive experience. Why do you do that? See if you can identify what pushes you into that conversation hijacker style. Now, some of the common things that we hear from people is that, look, their good news reminded me of my own good news. And so, I just got excited and I wanted to share good news with them. It wasn't, I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I wasn't trying to steal the limelight. I just got excited. That's very common. Another thing we hear is that sometimes, let's be honest, someone shares something positive with us. Maybe we feel envious. And maybe in our moment of envy, we kind of one-up them. So if someone shares good news with me, I feel a little envious, and so the next thing I know, I'm sort of trying to outdo them with my positive experiences. That happens, that's real. Another thing we hear is that sometimes people will tell us, look, I didn't intend to steal the limelight. In fact, I wanted to sort of be in the moment with that other person, but I was just so filled with enthusiasm, maybe that's a signature character strength, that I got swept away in all of it, and the next thing I knew, suddenly we're talking about me. These are common things we hear from people that get in their way of being with the person in that person's good news.